Okay, so you need to get introduced into the idea of solutions. And so this is going to get you started off. These are just some definitions that we need to recognize. So all solutions are blank mixtures. They are the same throughout. The key is the same throughout. And the word we're going to use is homogeneous. The other word that we're not using at this point is heterogeneous. And we've seen these terms before. This means different. So when I'm looking at a solution, they have two parts. They have a solute and a solvent. There's a difference. There's a dissolving medium and dissolved particles. The medium that's dissolving everything, that's would be your solvent. And the dissolved particles are the solute. The most common solvent and the closest thing to a universal solvent, that's water. And you are expected to know that. And we learned this term when we did balancing equations. A solution which water is the solvent, we don't call those liquids, we call those aqueous. So when I'm looking at salt water, I have salt and water. Water is the solvent because it's a dissolving medium, and salt is a solute. Okay. Some more terms. A substance that's able to be dissolved. We're going to call that soluble. Yet they're not able to dissolve, insoluble. Here's some old terms. A reaction that absorbs energy, heat is the reactant. And we see this with, if I do this example, whoops, wrong spot. And then we take this and we have NH4. We call that endothermic. So a reaction that releases energy and heat is the product. We see that with sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide dissolves into its ions, Na plus OH minus plus heat. We call that exothermic. And then we've done this year when we did our labs. We had an insoluble product formed. We call those a precipitate. Okay, so those are some terms. So then I want you to go back over your states of matter. Some things I want you to think about. So like a solid. Well, how would you define a solid? Okay. Hopefully you're thinking, I usually get compact. Sometimes I get from y'all take shape of container. I also sometimes get that you can measure volume and mass. Okay. Slow moving particles, because they are still moving, just moving very slow. So that's some things I want you to think about as you're working through these, as you go back over your states of matter, your solid, liquid, and gas. And then honors, you also need to look at plasma. Then you have these questions over solubility. What does it mean? Like dissolves like. There's a TED Ed video that I'm putting up in the folder that actually talks about that. And he's going to talk about the two components of why things dissolves, and it's energetic and then entropy. And you need to find out what he means by that. He has a great analogy, breaks it up into it, and hopefully it'll make a lot of sense. You know, like dissolves like you've seen in the real world. Question number 2, why do you use laundry detergent while washing clothes? We've kind of talked about it in class. Think about what he's talking about in step 1. Why, if water is a universal solvent, why can't we dissolve everything? Okay. 3, how does each of these impact solubility? So if I change the temperature and I increase temperature, how's that increase solubility? Does it increase solubility or decrease it? Same thing with pressure. Then number 4, what are some things I can do to speed up the dissolving process? You guys need to think about your labs. You have done that multiple times. What are some ways of dissolving faster? Then some more definitions, fill in the chart. So have a definition, have an example that you can go back to. And then there's this rock candy article. There's an article that goes with it, and there's also a video that gives you some more insight on that because it goes into our vocab words. With your article, there's some additional questions to answer, and I'll leave that for you to look at. Okay. And then honors, you're going to be making an infographic. Okay. You've already kind of defined some of these words, so I just list them out one more time. And in your articles, those words are in there. Not all of them, but a good amount of them. So then you'll be making an infographic over your topic that I've given you, summarizing your article with the key points and key vocab. Make it fun, make it entertaining, and I will see y'all when I get back.